What up, world? It's another week. We are back for Men vs. Truth vs. Women podcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in each and every episode. I'm Will West the Best. These are my guests I have here today. We do our regular routine with my podcast where we have a beautiful young lady, a handsome young man, have a great topic, and we discuss it and we go talk about it. So we go get to it today. I'll start off by introducing this young lady first.
Oh, that means go. Well, I'm City. That's what I go by these days. Do not call me Mariah.
And this gentleman right here.
I'm John. To most people, I'm Big John. That's
And the Brown Bruce Wayne.
I'm the Brown Bruce Wayne on Instagram.
Yeah, give us your Instagram name too.
Oh, City Kings.
Okay, all right.
2 Z's.
Remember that, 2 Z's, y'all. 2 of those Z's. All right, so we go get to the topic this week. I kind of went a little left with this topic. I threw John a wrench and then I reeled him in with something else. So we are actually going to be talking about a major thing that ain't really discussed too much these days, submission. I was educated on this word. Submission is a biblical term. So the first question I'm going to ask you should you be religious in order to submit properly?
I'm going with no.
Okay.
There's a bunch of denominational people, is that the correct word?
Mm-hmm.
That practice submission every day and don't necessarily read anything of that book or practice biblical activities, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say no as well. It don't matter really what religion you are, whether it's the 3 major, whether you're spiritual, whether you believe in the ancestors of the universe. When you with your partner, submission is more about balance. So for the most part, everybody speaks about balance between a man and a woman within a relationship.
And I agree with both of you all. I really believe that submission is more of a human nature. So it's more of a understanding and being able to understand the person that you're willing to submit to if you do submit, and being able to balance your life in regards to that. Now, with the biblical talk out of there, we're going to get away from that real quick. Does submission mean sex on demand?
No. Unless that's your thing. That's your requirement, fine, but no.
So it's all about requirements?
Why wouldn't it be? Ain't that what you're supposed to be submitting to? Whatever you expect from each other?
It's no, but it's an asterisk behind it.
Why you put, hold on, whoa. Why you putting an asterisk
behind it? Because it shouldn't be on demand, because everybody has their days where they feel like doing it, where they don't feel like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it comes to habit, to where every day you just not in the mood, that's a deeper problem. That you may not want to be with me, or I may not be the person for you. If it's every day, it's an excuse, or it's a problem, or you just not in the mood all the time, that's the conversation we should have had before we got together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a problem. So it shouldn't be on demand, but it should be,
it should be included.
More frequent than not.
Yeah, it should be included.
There should be a clear understanding of what you expect from the beginning.
Fact.
If y'all start off and you getting it in every day, that one day we don't, I'm asking questions.
Right.
Because what the hell? We was just rabbits 2 days ago. What the...
Right.
Yeah, I'm probably the one that's going to ask that question.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with asking that question. So, since we didn't, all right, John, you was explaining things a little more in depth in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
what does submission look like to you?
Like I said, man, it's all about balance. And it's I don't want to go to the biblical term or whatever, but it's people hear that word submission and it's already a stigma behind it, because it's like submission, you think about in a wrestling match. If I make you submit,
That's what I was
you're
thinking
tapping
about.
out, you're giving up, you're quitter, you're less than.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not that. Like, they always say, well, a woman is supposed to submit to a man, but in reality, we both submitting to each other, because everything I'm supposed to be doing for you, if I have to give all that up and do all that for you because you the one, I'm submitting everything. Like my time, my energy, my work, my love, I'm giving everything up. So it's a balancing act. Like that word is just, it sounds so strong and terrifying that it scares people.
Yeah, we was just talking about that.
So it makes them not willing to do it because it's like, well, why do I got to do this for this person? Well, this is the person you said you love. This is the person you said you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not willing to give that up for them, you might as well stay single.
Yeah. So, Miss City, what is your perspective of submission?
It's about trust. If I can't trust you, what am I submitting to? Why would I submit to you? And then you look at the definition of it. That's why I agree with you. People have a negative connotation of the word submission, but what's the words that it uses to describe it?
So have you ever got into a relationship with a person that you wouldn't submit to, but you already kind of knew who that person was before you got with them?
Hold on, say that one more time for me.
Like, for instance, she said, like, it's a trust thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people jump into relationships without even fully knowing the person or that person sends a representative.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you get in a relationship, y'all cool, y'all kicking it, but the moment the submission word comes up or the qualifications for the submission comes up, you have apprehensions about it and you don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, have you ever got into a relationship to where you be like, I don't want to do this?
I think that's a trick bag, in my opinion.
Not necessarily. It depends on what the relationship was. Have I been involved with people knowing that this probably ain't going to go nowhere? Yes, and we all know what that reason was.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to submit to you? Hell no. Not at all. Submitting is, again, being able to trust somebody, but if I don't trust you to do anything but lead me off of a cliff, what am I submitting to?
Now, what if they have showed you nothing but taking the right course of action for them to lead? Because I've had a situation. I've been in that situation where I've showed that person nothing but the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the direction they wanted me to go or how they wanted me to do it, but it was still the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
And once they deviated from that, they were in trouble. And who had to bail them out? Me.
Okay.
So it was like,
but then you
they
set
trust me,
yourself
but they
up
didn't
with
trust
that?
me.
Mm.
Yeah, I probably did. It was like they trust me, but they didn't trust me.
There's
So it's
different levels
like,
of trust too. Trust is not a physical thing. Trust isn't a mental thing. It's an emotional thing. It's a sexual thing. It's so many different levels. I can trust somebody to know that if somebody comes in this door right now, I'm covered because of the people I'm in the room with. I can trust you to that degree.
Mhm.
Can I trust you to sit in this corner? We about to talk about what I got going on mentally? No, I don't know you. There's the same levels in a relationship. Like if we're in this together and it's just a sexual thing, I trust you sexually because I ain't caught nothing when we in this involvement. But do I trust you mentally and emotionally to take care of me that way? No. If you don't have that whole level of trust, then I don't think there's any chance of submission at all. I don't care how many. Somebody could show you on Monday that they're willing to do anything and everything you ask them to do. And Tuesday, they're a totally different person.
I think when it comes to that, it's more of, like you said, it's going to be, the trust is going to kick in regards of the submission that you're doing. So it's I'm not going to say it's levels.
oh, it's levels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, no. The reason I'm not saying it's levels, because we all know it's levels to trusting and being able to submit, but it's also the knowing of that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what's going to determine if you really can submit or you can actually trust that person as well. So can you, I'm going to say it like this, can submission be taken overboard?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what the definition of submission is. Everybody thinks.
So
is
that the only reason?
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons. Some people go into things with different.
People can take it too overboard, or they can take it too lightly. So it's definitely a double-edged sword. Like you may have somebody, like she said, that's
huge gray area.
over the top and do what I say. I do this for you. I do that for you. You better listen to this and that. And there's some people that it's too light. Well, I don't have to do it. You know, I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So it's like it's a balancing act. It's definitely, that's what I said in the beginning. It's a balancing act. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
Like it's like the perfect example of anybody that has ever played a sport and you have a teammate. I know what I do well. I know what you do well. I have to be a good enough teammate to trust you to do your job. You have to do your job. I have to do mine. Now, when you don't do it, it's a problem, but we can fix it. But I still have to trust you to do your job, whether you're leading or you're following. I have to trust you. So it's a balancing act.
So would you say, this is for both of y'all, would y'all say trust is the main reason for submission or the main cause of submission? I'll say it that way.
It's a good question.
Because is that the only way you'll be able to submit is trust?
Yeah, I mean,
where else do you start?
I mean, that's the first thing. I mean, you have to trust somebody in order to lead or to follow. Like, I'm not going, if I don't trust, if I'm leading you, if I don't trust that you're going to follow me, I'm not going to try to lead you. I'm going to find either be with somebody else or figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can't speak for a woman, but I can't, if I'm a woman, I can't follow you if I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
Because you can be leading me off a cliff to a dead end, somewhere I don't want to be. But regardless of the route you take, I have to be able to trust, okay, he has my best intentions. Yeah. So it has to be trust. That's the main thing.
So this is going to be directed for John.
Mm-hmm.
John, you're the married man here.
Mm-hmm.
What is something your spouse does or shows you that they submit to you?
I mean, it's an everyday thing. It may be a little thing, just as far as just me taking care of the household. It is more than just paying bills, but me making sure, she feels protected, she feels provided for, she feels loved every day.
Mm-hmm.
And her job is, to take care of all the ins and outs to make me feel like I'm respected and loved as well. So it's just everything every day. It's just like waking up, I go to work, I cook, she cooks, I take care of what she needs. If I say I'm sick, she's going to the store, getting me whatever I need,
Mm-hmm.
helping me out. Like I said, it's a balance in that. So that's just for her to trust that I'm going to make sure she's okay no matter what, whether I'm mad, upset, whether I don't feel like doing it. Because a lot of times, like I said, we around that same person every day. And we're human. There's a lot of times we don't just feel like doing it for the sake of not doing it.
Right.
She has to trust me like, okay, I know he's going to go get it done.
Right.
He got me. He's going to make sure I'm safe. He's going to make sure I'm cool every day.
Okay. How long did it take y'all to get to that point?
I'm not going to say it took long. We still have...
You still got growth.
We still got growth, but we also are dealing with separate traumas. Okay. So it's like the trust is there. The capability is there. But sometimes, we're not perfect. So we fall back in those traumas and those things that make us apprehensive. Mm. So it didn't take long, but it's still a work in progress. Mm-hmm. It's still gonna, like I said, we've been together for 7-8 years. We've been married for almost 3. Okay. So, and it's still a work in progress. So, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
So, Miss City, I'm gonna ask you. I almost slipped up. My bad.
I heard that. It's all right.
What do you think some benefits that come from submitting?
Benefits? Man, somebody else can take the lead role and I can take a break. That's a benefit. Mm-hmm. I also like what you said with the whole, I think we get a negative connotation because you start thinking of leading and following. In submission, you end up representing the both of you out in public. And I feel like that's not just on the man, it's on the woman too. Like, I have no problem with learning from my significant other. You probably gonna teach me some shit I didn't know about, vice versa. But in submission, you have to be willing to be able to take that constructive criticism from that woman too. Just because she's submitting to you does not mean your word is end all be all. Because didn't y'all listen to the Beyonce song? He was taking her to the meetings that complimented. She was the woman behind the scenes. That's usually how it's supposed to be, in my opinion.
I know a whole lot about Beyonce.
Don't do her like that. She knows something good. But there's a lot of benefits to being submissive. Just having a teammate is what I feel like you should be getting out of being submissive.
It's probably the best word I've heard about a teammate.
Why are you submitting to just him, or why is he just submitting to you? It should be going both ways.
That's what I said. That's why I said the teammate part at the beginning. That's definitely
like
what it is and what people fail to realize. And I'm going to say this to Nate because he'll probably catch it, but it's like the Jordan and Pippen aspect or the Jerry Rice and John Taylor aspect.
Just start this sports shit.
You have to. That's just, it's easy to understand.
I underget it, but come on, man.
But it's just like, I have to know when to let my wife be Jordan, and I can just sit back. I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with myself to let her do that. And she has to know when it's my time to be in the spotlight and me be forward.
Right.
And just because I'm a man, I have no problem with saying that. And like I said, before I left the house, that's the first thing she said. Don't make sure you don't say nothing crazy. You know, you represent me, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I heard you.
Because it's both of y'all.
I got you.
Y'all married.
It's no problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
whole
sure.
image.
For sure. So it's like, you have to know when to be the sidekick. And it's no problem. And you can't get up and your masculine energy and get mad when you got to be the sidekick.
I love you, John. Don't tell your
wife
I'm not being rude, but I love you.
Like I said, but it's like that. But those are men or people that are comfortable within themselves. There's a lot of people that are not. So they feel like they have to be the dictator or
feel like they gotta run something.
Y'all live in y'all feminine energy too. It doesn't. It's not a dig at you. I want a man who lives in his feminine energy at times and wants to be needed or held or something. Don't wear me out with that shit though. Don't do that. But I've been in my masculine energy for so long. Why wouldn't I want to submit to somebody to take that weight off of my shoulders? It sounds kind of selfish. Oops, I hit the thingy. It sounds kind of selfish, but isn't that the point of it?
Yeah, that's what I was. That was actually going to my next question. Is submission only for marriage or dating relationships as well?
I don't think so. I think the dating aspect, people are expecting it too soon, in my opinion. I feel like anybody who's worked retail knows what a 90-day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in 90 days, if we don't need you, we are able to tell you we amicably disagree. Carry on. What makes you think in a year's time or 6 months' time that you have done anything so miraculous that I'm like, wherever you go, I'm going to follow?
Yeah.
Absolutely
I
not.
feel like that's a big thing that's going on in the dating scene right now. Like, just seeing it on the outside, and I'm like, why are y'all falling in love in 2 days?
In 2 days, a weekend.
He took you on an expensive date.
On Christmas.
Took you on an expensive date, and you didn't lost your mind.
I don't even think it's the falling in love. I think it's the expectation of what people want. They want to be dating, but still want you to do husband things.
Yeah.
They want you to be dating and still want you to do wifely things. It's not even the falling in love part. Like, it was a meme on Facebook, and it was just, I don't know a dude wrote it, but it was funny. He was like, you want me, how did it say? How did I say it? It said, you want me to chase you, pay all your bills, not date nobody, and still like chase you. It's like, come on, like that don't make sense.
That don't make sense.
You want me to do that, like, and we're dating, take you out,
that makes
pay everything,
sense.
take care of your kids. You don't even know me,
right?
Like,
you don't even know my favorite color,
right? Like, it's just what the expectation is.
You don't even know what TV shows I like to watch.
Okay.
So this is like I realized I was watching Pedro Live, and Sparkles was saying something off the chain. I'm like, Sparkle, what are you saying? This doesn't make sense.
People just...
But I like I said, it's starting to be more what I've noticed. The independence of a woman has went to so high of a level that they don't know to meet in the middle anymore. And I'm not gonna say I'm not saying as a shot towards women, but y'all have been pushed to the point where y'all so independent, y'all don't need a man. And that's what I've always heard.
You know what that's called? Hypervigilance. I like that you mentioned that both of you have traumas, that you're both... Do you know how many men will actually say that? Not very many.
Nope.
Do you know how many men probably need to go talk to a therapist right now?
For sure.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every man.
Every man needs to go talk to a therapist.
We promote therapy on this podcast.
I appreciate it. My wife is a therapist.
Yeah, that makes it even more.
And she actually wants me to go see one. I haven't necessarily fought her on it.
Okay.
I just necessarily haven't did it yet. I plan on doing it. Just haven't did it yet.
And you got to find the right therapist.
I got to find the right one.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's just being able to admit that, or being able to be comfortable in oneself, like I mentioned earlier. If you're not comfortable with yourself, you're never going to say, okay, I was wrong in this, or I may not be doing the right thing in this, or I was never taught to do the right thing in this.
Do you even know the right thing?
Do you even know the right thing?
See, the new thing I've used with that, and I've been practicing it a lot lately, if you're praying, do one for me. To say that you don't, why does it have to be who's right or who's wrong? You could very well be right for feeling the way you feel. I don't have to like it.
Accepting it.
You hear what I'm saying to you? I heard you, but I don't have to like it. And why can't I be right for feeling the way I felt at that time? We may have just approached it incorrectly.
Right.
Nobody has to be right or wrong.
Yeah.
You do things in your own time, but stop thinking because you met somebody, things went good, and you accidentally met her kids, that now you're supposed to,
You there.
what you say is law. Or,
Mhm.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. So many women have gotten to the point where they feel like I can do this by myself because men, or if you date women, have allowed you to feel like you need to do it by yourself. Like, why we have to keep going through struggle love? Why do I got to struggle to like you before you decide you like me?
And it's crazy. On the flip side, it's some women that actually feel like you have to. If I struggle for you or with you, I love you more. Like I've actually had a
That
female.
is crazy.
I've actually had a female tell me, "We madly in love." It's a problem. Why is it a problem? This is too easy. What?
Wow. How's it?
You
wait,
want it to be hard?
you want to make this? You want to make this a rock
But
climb
that's another
climb
that's
over a couple
traumatic
mountains
thing.
and
But like I said,
hills?
that for in her mind,
It's a
some
thing.
reason,
Google it.
her example, her traumas made her feel like, well, if I don't struggle with me or we don't bump heads or there is no whatever in her mind that's passion, it's not real love. But that's not the case.
They don't even have to go that in depth. It's just
Right.
anybody who thinks we not arguing, we not even.
Yeah.
Why is it so easy? I've done it before. Not the arguing, because I'm not arguing with nobody. But this is going too good. When the shoe about to drop. I've said that before. Like,
Something about to happen.
But
Yeah,
sometimes ain't no shoes.
Usually I'm not
Sometimes
wrong,
that
but-
man
I'm waiting
just
for the
love
feature
you.
to kick
you
in.
hear what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Like, because let's face it, we show up on dates and shit as somebody we want you to think we are, and then you give them 6 months to a year, and you find out they're a whole completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it hard to submit.
So that's getting ready to go to my next question. You just keep leading me into my next
I'm
question.
helping you segue.
Yeah, you helping me out. So this is for you. Yeah, all right, and like you said, in this dating scene, is it a fear today in the dating scene to submit or being able to submit to someone?
Yeah. Because even though we keep coming back to this trust
I'll say
thing,
today's society. I
Yeah,
won't just
pretty
say in general.
yeah. It's not only is it like involving you having to trust another person, you have to trust yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to say, okay,
And I feel like on that side of things,
mm,
a lot of people don't trust themselves and they think they do.
they don't. Or some people project themselves to be so much more. It's okay if you're depressed or you need to talk or you want a hug. It's okay. You don't have to radiate this personality that's unnecessary. You're gonna be drained.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And for the most part, it's accountability.
Thank you.
People won't even say
We talked about that last episode.
People won't even say I'm the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. I've been. the
People won't
problem.
even say I'm the problem. Like,
Mm-mm.
and it's like I can only speak for the man side or the male side. I have some friends that are good guys. I have some friends that ain't, excuse my language, that ain't shit. I love them
You
all
can
the
cuss,
same.
you all right? Yeah.
I love them all the same,
Mhm.
but I do have. But for the ones that are, good guys, it's like the problem they have with a lot of their women is the accountability aspect. It's the entitlement, number one.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I don't have any kids yet, but if I have a daughter, yes, I'm going to treat her the same way. I'm going to treat her like a princess. Everything is cool. All this is that.
Yeah,
But
you've experienced
she
it
has
with
to-
me.
yeah,
You've experienced it.
You have to learn, just because I treat you that way, every other man's not going to treat you that way.
Yeah.
Now, he should if he loves you, but you can't feel entitled to it or expect it. You have to find the right person that will give it to you willingly. And then it's the accountability part. Like, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do for you, I love you, you hurt me, you have to be able to say, I'm sorry, be accountable for it, and move on.
I think that's the hard part. They don't want it. The pride gets in the way
On both sides.
On
on
both
both sides,
Mm-hmm.
but it also gets in the way when it comes down to apologizing.
To be a good leader, you have to be able to listen.
Yep.
And not just listen to hear what I said. You have to comprehend what I said to you.
Mhm.
That's the biggest problem. Everybody was like, well, listening, comprehend. No, comprehension and all that goes. Communication is important. Ain't that what they always say? Communication is key. No, fool. Comprehension is key.
Mhm.
Because did you understand anything I just said?
That's
to
why I
you?
always jokingly say, I hear you, but that don't mean I'm listening.
Do you hear what I'm
Right.
saying to you? Like,
So, you know what I'm
You
saying?
can easily
Yeah.
repeat back every sentence I just said to you. That don't mean you understood shit
Yeah.
that I said
You
to
just
you.
heard a piece of it.
You heard,
heard a
you
couple
heard the tail end and you
it was like
pieced
blah,
that
blah,
together.
blah.
I'm just gonna knock all your stuff out today.
It goes like blah, 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 listening,
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, baby, I heard you.
And then it just goes to
But what did I
mush.
say?
Right.
And now,
It's the listening, it's the comprehension. But for me, it's those things. But I'm just like an old math teacher. Show your work. Show me that you're listening. Put it into action.
I like your style, kid. I like your style.
And I think that's what people fall short of. Because when you're in a relationship or you with somebody, they may hear you, they may comprehend, but they don't put it into action. Or they may put it into action for a couple weeks, wait for you to get cool, and go right back to the same stuff they was doing. So put it into action. Don't just tell me you're listening or show me you're listening. I want to see it. And I think people fall short of that sometimes. Or they just do it enough to where they feel like it satisfies you or they feel like they can move on. Then they go back into doing the same stuff.
What have we been talking about the last few days? You have to love me the way that I need to be loved, not the way that you want to love me. That means nothing.
Yeah, I think
it has to go vice versa. Love language is a thing. Take the quiz. Real shit. Take the quiz.
Well, I'm living it.
If you didn't know anything about yourself before you took that quiz, you're going to learn afterwards what you need for yourself. Do I need words of affirmation? Do I need you to... And then you have to take that and apply it every day. It can't just stop after a week or two.
That means what you need as well as what your partner needs.
Okay.
So, and because it's kind of crazy, me and my significant other, her love language is acts of service and
John,
affirmation.
I love you. You just keep going.
And mine is quality time and physical touch.
Okay.
For sure.
Now, like I said, we have certain traumas to where her traumas
Affect her love language.
How she gives me my love language.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and sometimes I don't do the best of being understanding with that. I try to be better. I'm getting better with it. But like you said,
my boy, he learning. He learning. He definitely.
He learning.
You have to, like she said, you have to love me the way I want to be loved, and I have to love her the way she want to be loved. And part of my trauma is everything is balanced for me, because I came out of a relationship that was so traumatizing for me that I felt like I was doing everything. That I had balance is one of the top things on my list. So if I feel you're not balancing me, I'm already on 10. I'm already where I don't need to be.
You already rattled.
So
Understand?
I have to get better with that, as well as she has to get better with how she shows me the love I need.
So since we're speaking of the love language, when it comes to submitting, I say it like this. Submitting, is it considered a form of commitment as well?
Of course. I mean, that's the ultimate commitment.
Right.
Like,
because you just submitting to somebody you had a one-night stand with?
There's people out there to do it.
Nah,
I mean, that's the ultimate.
That's a whole different form of
I'm just
submission.
being honest. I'm just being honest.
Talking about the wrong form.
That's the ultimate commitment. To give somebody, I'm not gonna say that much.
Why you say it's the ultimate?
It is, because to give somebody, I'm not gonna say that much control over you, but that much control over y'all relationship and where y'all going.
Y'all life.
That's trusting. Like, I don't, and that's something as a man I can't take for granted, and why it's so serious, because like, this person loves me enough to wake up with me every day and trust me that I'm going to put us in the right position for us to be okay. And as a woman, like, that's scary, because like I said, I don't know, like she said, I can wake up one day and be fine, wake up one day and not be fine the next. So it's the ultimate commitment. Like, I'm pretty much giving you, I'm not necessarily putting my life in your hands, but I'm putting my life in your hands.
So would you consider this for you specifically? When you married your wife, that was your form of submitting?
Yeah. Like, literally, like, y'all always be getting on me because I work so much. Like, that's literally me taking on the ultimate job every day, all day.
Yeah.
For me, I give up sleep.
I don't never knock you for it. I know why you're doing what you're doing.
I give up money. I give up time. I give up love. I give up energy. I give up everything to make sure we're okay. Not just me, her. Like, you know, her grandmother had passed, and she was like, I love John. I trust him to be with you, for you to be with him. Like, you're going to be okay.
She gave you the word.
So that stuck with me. Like, you know, she loves her grandmother to death. Like, that was one of the hardest deaths she's been through. For her to say that, for me, you know, that was, I don't take that lightly.
Yeah, that's nothing you,
you know.
When grandma and grandpa say, hey, you got my word. I know you go take care of business. That's one of the biggest things with me is when that day happens, I want the confirmation from my person key men in her life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a major thing because it's also a respect
Yeah.
thing from the male perspective. It's a very important thing.
Yeah.
And then it's also the fact that we want them to know that you can trust your granddaughter, your daughter in my hands. So that's the biggest thing in regard to that. Miss City, when it comes to submitting, is that something you want to complete part of? Well, I'll say it like this: do you want that to be a part of completion in your life?
Most days, yes. And then them days when I'm being a control freak, no. It's one part I listened to you. Your wife is you say therapist.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
That lady sits and listens to other people's problems, and who knows what she got to unpack when she get home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same exact way. I get phone calls and text messages with people wanting to vent and all stuff. That's something else that's been brought into a relationship. So when you get me, you get we.
Everything.
You hear what I'm saying?
You got a group.
So there are going to be days when I'm going to need to check out, when I need my space, when I need my time, and if I communicate that to you directly, whether it be through text or through conversation or whatever it is, as my person, I expect you to respect that. You see what I'm saying to you? If I can come to terms and say I need my space, that's a lot for me, because I will take on some shit and just keep going.
So you take it on and just keep rolling with it.
I would love the opportunity to get to know somebody so much so that I'm like, you too, let's talk about this shit. You want to call my therapist? We can call them together. I want to get to that point. And if my kids are comfortable around you, if we go together real bad, ain't that what she said?
Yeah, real bad.
So yes, I would love to get to that point where I can personally trust somebody enough, because I know I could be a piece of work. When you go through traumatic experiences and have traumatic relationships, or mine being, my daughter's father passed. That was it for me. I swear I was done dating. So anybody who get a chance now,
it's a whole different ball
game. You hear
game.
what I'm saying to you? So my submission is gonna look different to somebody else. Because I've also been self-employed and things of that nature too. So it's gonna take a lot for it to make sense from you why I need you.
And why you protect yourself the way you protect yourself.
So it's not always about people being uppity or that. You don't know what's going on in somebody's head. But I've made it a point to study my person. I know the tone of his voice. I know when it's, you know what I mean? I know what he needs before he needs it. I need my person to do the same thing for me. So to answer your question, yes.
And what she said makes sense. Like, 'cause that's the burden she needs to lay down. Like, as a man, like, if I go out, I'm working, I'm facing the world. When I come home, I want to drop those burdens. How I am around you and our other friends, I don't have to be tough and fight everybody. When I come home, like I said, I want to be able to unload. I want to be able to drop those burdens to where
you walk through them doors, everything's gone.
Nothing else matter.
That's all.
Nothing else matter. So it's like I said in the beginning, it's a balancing act. Like, people hear that submission word, like, oh, it automatically strikes them as something being negative, and it's definitely not.
Yeah, and I'm gonna conclude by saying, submission is not a fear; it should be a want. The reason I say it should be a want is because a lot of us in the Black community don't accept these type of burdens. They fear them. They don't want to be around it. And then it's the fear that runs them off from it. So when you hear submit, I'm just going to leave it like this. When you hear the word submission, don't think of pro wrestling. Think of a passion of something that you want in your life that you feel like it can complete you. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate my guests today. I'll go ahead and give them your Instagram.
At City Kings, 2 Z's.
I'm at the Brown Bruce Wayne on Instagram.
The Brown Bruce Wayne.
Brown Bruce Wayne, my brother. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I am Will West the Best. This is another episode of Men vs. Truth vs. Women podcast. Check me out on all major platforms, Facebook, YouTube. Check out the YouTube page. We got multiple content on there. And I appreciate everybody tuning in.